you look closely behind me, we have a farmland, and this has been properly structured and made to plant a particular seed in it so that it can grow, right? I want you to liken your mind to this farmland behind me and ask yourself whether there are weeds there, there are unwanted plants there are trees that you don't really want to grow in your mind. Liken your mind to this soil and to this farmland. Is it properly structured for the dream that you want to desire? Because we plant seeds in us and they grow into trees. The trees are what influences our behavior, where we now have attitudes, and that attitude now bets about certain results. Those results are the fruits. So you plant a seed in a soil, that seed then begins to grow and sprout, and then it turns into a tree of its own sort. Then that tree now bears its own fruit. That's the same thing with you, the individual. I've said this before, and maybe I'll mention it again. Your brain is like a seed, and the roots going down are like your nervous system. Your brain is a seed, and the roots going down are your nervous system. So if you enter a hospital, right, and you see that graph or that chart on the wall, you see the internal nervous system of the human being, you see the nervous system of the human being, you see the brain, and then you see the nervous system going down. It looks like a tree. It looks like a seed that it's sprouting, and the roots are going down. That's the same thing with you as the individual. Whatever idea you plant in your mind, it enters into your brain, and then it also takes on that same simulacrum, that same similar gaze, that same similar view of the thing being planted into the roots. And what happens following that is it then begins to take root in you, it then begins to grow in you. And when it grows in you, you now begin to bear fruit. When it grows in you, you start moving in line with the seed you have planted in your mind. So when you hear things like birds of the same feather flock together, and be careful with the company you keep, and peer pressure and things like that, it all has to do with the ideas you people come together to agree upon. And when you guys come together to agree upon the idea is a seed, and then it comes into you. You accept the seed, just like how a woman accepts the sperm from the person that is having sex with her. You too, you accept the seed, and then when you accept the seed, it takes upon a process where it now begins to grow in you, the individual. So when it now begins to grow in you, the individual, then your attitude now begins to move in line with that seed you have planted. And so when your attitude now begins to move in line with that seed you have planted, then you now begin to bear fruits in line with that attitude. So your attitude is a spiritual thing, because you cannot hold your attitude, but it dictates your actions, right? It dictates your day-to-day actions. So if a seed or an idea can change your attitude, it's not reasonable for you to choose the types of seeds you plant in your mind and make sure your mind is as orderly as this particular farmland behind me. It will be very wise for you to do that, because it will show that you understand what you are doing. It will show that you have control of your mind. It will show that you know how to guard your heart with all diligence, because truly it is said in the Bible, for those of you that know the Bible, it says guard your heart or your mind with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. So things always come out of our minds. Be very careful as to what you allow into your mind, because it is what comes out that defiles the man, not what comes in. So as you keep paying attention to the right life that you want to realize, you are planting a seed in your life, and that seed is the idea you are planting in your life. And then it's now after a period of time, it will begin to influence your attitude, it will begin to influence your being, it will begin to influence your state of consciousness, your state of mind. And then when that thing is fully changed, your actions in the physical world will then begin to bear witness to that seed that you planted. So then the world will now bear witness that, oh, this is what this guy was always doing, this is who this person is, because you planted the seed in line with who you are now. So your attitude bears fruits. But for your attitude to be solidified enough to bear fruit, a mature tree is what bears the fruits of itself. So for you to be mature, or for you to be that tree, you have to plant the seed and nurture the seeds. You don't plant the seed in a rocky place, you plant the seed in a fertile soil. So you are always, and the fertile soil implies that it is one that is always giving the proper nutrients, the proper energy for the seed to grow. So be very aware of giving that seed, that idea that you desire to realize, the right attention, the right energy, the right focus, so that it can grow. If energy flows where attention goes, it is very reasonable for you to focus on that seed that you want to influence your attitude. And when it influences your attitude, you now begin to move in line with that seed that you have captured within yourself. So it is very simple, but it is very delicate. So I advise you guys to take your time to listen to this over and over and over again, so that you can know how you can rightly define your future based on the seeds you accept and the ideas you accept and the thoughts you consent to as true. For those are the seeds you plant in yourself, and after a period of time, when you properly focus on it, then it now begins to grow. When it now begins to grow, it turns into a tree in your nervous system. It now influences your nervous system. When it influences your nervous system, your actions, because you cannot move without that internal nervous system, so your actions now begin to be in line with that seed you have planted, and then your actions now birth the results consistent with the idea. I hope you guys understand this. I'm sure you guys understand this. Thank you for listening, and practice this.